The air in Stockholm was electric on Saturday night, August 9th, as Kendrick Lamar and SZA closed out the European leg of their grand national tour. For almost a year, the two artists had been moving like twin comets across the globe, igniting stadiums and arenas with a chemistry that was impossible to fake. But as the final note rang out in Sweden's capital, there was a quiet shift. The joint chapter of this tour had come to an end. SZA, one of the core architects of this spectacle, was stepping back. Kendrick Lamar, however, still had more to give, with entire continents still waiting for his arrival. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. It's hard to overstate the scale of what the Grand National Tour became. When it launched, it was already a hot ticket, two of the most acclaimed and talked about artists in modern music sharing a stage night after night. But the timing made it something else entirely. Kendrick had just delivered a Super Bowl halftime show performance that blurred the lines between live concert, political statement, and cultural event. SZA had turned her SOS era into a generational moment, shattering records and earning critical praise while proving herself an unstoppable live presence. Together, they turned the tour into a traveling cultural flashpoint. Stockholm's closing show for the joint run was more than a final performance. It felt like the last scene in a chapter that had been building since February. Social media the next morning was flooded with mixed emotions: celebration, sadness, and deep respect. Fans posted clips of them singing along to every word, slow-motion videos of the confetti drop, and candid shots of the two artists embracing on stage. Yes, the conversation online was sometimes divisive, as it had been all tour: debates over set lists, over production choices, over the much-publicized Drake feud that shadowed Kendrick's appearances. But there was also overwhelming acknowledgement of the rarity of what these two had pulled off. And then came SZA's own words. In an Instagram story later captured by Kendrick Lyrics on Twitter, she shared a raw, unpolished reflection. No publicist-perfect statement, no carefully crafted press release. Just her, speaking from the heart. This tour was the craziest, most once-in-a-lifetime experience I've ever had, she wrote. Like all my childhood thoughts in one bang. What was that? LMAO, not a lot of words. Thank you to every single person involved that made this happen. It was a fitting way for her to bow out, appreciative, a little amazed at herself, and ready to move forward. From the Super Bowl stage in February to a sold-out stadium in Sweden in August, she'd been there for every major moment of the tour's story. Even as the Drake vs. Kendrick feud reframed the North American leg into something like a victory lap for West Coast hip-hop, SZA's presence made sure the tour wasn't just about competition. She brought her own gravitational pull, a different energy, a lush and emotional counterpoint to Kendrick's sharpened edge. That's why her absence will be deeply felt in the next chapter of the Grand National Tour. Latin America and Australia are still on the calendar for 2025, but these will be Kendrick Lamar's solo shows. For fans in those regions, there's a bittersweet note to the news. They'll get Kendrick, an artist at the peak of his live powers, but they won't see the SZA-Kendrick alchemy that made so many earlier stops feel historic. Still, these legs of the tour aren't scaled-down afterthoughts. In fact, they might be even more tightly focused. Kendrick has lined up a slate of openers that reflect the diversity and reach of his fan base. In Latin America, from September 23rd to October 7th, the Argentine duo CA7 RIEL and Paco Amoroso will set the tone. Known for their genre-hopping blend of rap, funk, and electronic sounds, they're a fitting choice for audiences that thrive on high-energy, unfiltered performances. Each city, Mexico City, Bogotá, São Paulo, Buenos Aires, and Santiago, is set to feel like a one-night-only event. Then in December, the focus shifts to Australia, where Kendrick will play 2 nights each in Sydney and Melbourne. The format is clever. On the first night in each city, TDE's own Schoolboy Q will bring his West Coast firepower to the stage. On the second night, Doeki I will step in with her chameleonic blend of rap, R&B, and genre-defying experimentation. It's a rotation that keeps things fresh while still tying each show back to Kendrick's top dog entertainment family. If the European run was about collaboration and shared spotlight, these upcoming shows might be about something different. Kendrick holding court entirely on his own terms. There's no co-headliner to share the narrative with, no balancing act between artistic visions. It's his stage, his pacing, his story to tell from start to finish. That could mean longer sets, deeper cuts, and perhaps even more pointed references to the themes that have been running through his work lately. Fame, rivalry, legacy, and the balance between public expectation and personal truth. For fans who followed the tour's progression, there's another layer to this next phase. The Drake feud may not be actively fueling headlines anymore, but its shadow still lingers. Every performance of Not Like Us, the now iconic diss track, has been a cultural event in itself. In some cities, it's become an anthem, in others, a provocation. Latin America and Australia will almost certainly get their own renditions, and the crowd reactions could be telling. Without SZA to balance the mood with her soulful set, those moments might hit even harder. As for SZA, her next steps remain a mystery, and that's part of the intrigue. She's in a position few artists ever reach, beloved by critics, commercially unstoppable, and fresh off a world-spanning tour that proved her live show can match her studio reputation. If she wants to disappear from the public eye for 6 months, she can. If she wants to surprise release a new project, it would dominate conversation instantly. For now, her message from Stockholm suggests she's leaning toward rest. The work she's put in this year, physically, creatively, emotionally, can't be sustained without pause. And after delivering night after night alongside Kendrick, no one can say she hasn't earned it. The Grand National Tour in its full form, with both SZA and Kendrick, may be over, but the idea of it will linger. It was a rare case where hype matched reality, where two superstars at the height of their powers managed to share space without one dimming the other's light. Even the divisive moments, the setlist debates, the feud-fueled headlines, became part of the mythology. In a time when so many big tours feel like interchangeable spectacles, this one carved its own lane. The fans who missed the joint run, it's a chance to finally see Kendrick in this moment, riding the momentum of a year that's been as challenging as it's been triumphant. In the end, the Stockholm show wasn't just the end of a tour leg. It was a handoff. SZA stepped away, but the momentum continues. The road ahead runs through Mexico City, through Bogota, through Sao Paulo and Santiago, before jumping oceans to Sydney and Melbourne. Each stop will be its own closing scene, not for the whole story, but for this chapter in Kendrick Lamar's evolving live legacy. And somewhere down the line, maybe, just maybe, there will be another moment where these two artists cross paths on a stage again. If the Grand National Tour taught us anything, it's that when Kendrick Lamar and SZA decide to share a bill, it's not just a concert. It's a cultural event that leaves the world buzzing long after the lights go down. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.